Welcome back to the Comcast Spotlight. I'm Danna Geisler, president of the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce, and we're highlighting businesses in your area. And with me is Michael Metzger, the owner of Murphy Business and Financial Virginia. Welcome.
Thank you, Danna. Glad to be here.
We're thrilled to have you here and learn more about your business. So tell me, what exactly is a business broker?
It's a great question. Most business owners have never even heard of a business broker, and essentially what we are is a financial professional that helps bring buyers and sellers together to effect a transaction. Now that sounds pretty simple, but the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
So a professional business broker can help navigate the fairly complicated transactions of selling a business. Specifically, a business broker value the business, and that's absolutely critical to determine the right value of business. If you overprice a business, chances are it won't sell. If you underprice a business, you're leaving money on the table. So it's critical that you get that most probable sales price right. Broker help package and market the business on behalf of the seller, find qualified buyers, and critically can do this confidentially. Once buyers start responding to the marketing, the broker will actually pre-screen a buyer to make sure that they have the financial wherewithal and the business acumen to actually purchase the business and sustain a business. And then ultimately, when the right buyer is found, the broker will help facilitate the transaction all the way through to the closing table. So it's a critical and complicated that not many business owners are aware of, and it's increasingly important. As we are at just the cusp of this baby boomer retirement wave, there's going to be the largest transfer of wealth in human history, not just U.S. history, in human history. Sometime in the next 10 years, we're going to see $10 trillion change hands. So it's more important now than ever to make sure that you've got somebody who knows how to navigate those waters, helping you with those transactions. Fortunately, Murphy Business and Financial has over 200 brokers across the U.S. and Canada who are experienced and knowledgeable and have sold thousands of businesses, almost every business imaginable, and that's the type of resource that business owners like to tap into.
So, we do a lot of talk about the talent transition with the boomers retiring, and this is another element that is major, to your point. And this is really a thorough vetting process, and not only the value of the business now, but the lifetime value. And so this, does this provide the due diligence, peace of mind that you're putting the business in good hands, as you talked about the sustainability? So, there's probably people who maybe have thought of discovering an opportunity who are apprehensive because they don't have that due diligence or expertise in their back pocket. So do you ever, what sort of candidates are you looking for as client? Is the ideal client for your services?
So ideally, most of my clients tend to be small to mid-market business owners who have successfully developed a going concern, and they're ready to transition either another business or to retirement. So we're actually seeing a lot of baby boomers who have held off on selling their business for the last few years because of the depressed economy. They're now starting to come out, and they're very interested in selling and moving on. Fortunately, there's a great pool of buyers who are looking to buy good, profitable businesses. What I can't sell is businesses that are not profitable and are not making money. And that's sometimes a tough story to tell a business owner who is very emotionally connected to their business and may have unrealistic expectations.
Well, and I'm sure growing up in my family's business, I know that aside from your family, your business is really a part of your life and almost a family in itself. So it is an emotional attack. What sorts of things do people need to think about going into this that they might not otherwise that you provide? The knowledge and the expertise in this undertaking. This is a lot is on the line here. How do you navigate such an important experience?
No, it's a good question. There's a lot in selling a business, and it's sometimes difficult for business owners to overcome them themselves. I'll just cite a few off the top of my head. One of them is confidentiality. Typically, when you're selling a business, you don't want your employees, your customers, and even yours to know that your business is for sale. And every business owner I've talked to is very concerned about doing so confidentially. And that's something that an experienced broker can help with. Try to imagine selling your house, but not being able to put a for sale sign in the front yard or put an ad on your listing. But there are ways to do it. And again, if you've got the experience and the resources to do that, it can make it much easier. The second challenge that business owners and buyers have is financing. So it's probably not a big surprise that most buyers at the closing table with a big bag of cash. Most buyers require some level of financing. Over the last few years, as the economy has been struggling, the credit markets have been pretty tight, and often otherwise qualified buyers have not been able to access the financing that they need to buy the business. The good news is, as the economy is turning around, credit markets are opening up, banks are open for business, they're lending. The Small Business Administration recently increased their lending limit, or they back the loans, but they increased $5 million. So they're open for business, so qualified buyers can get lending. However, it is worth noting for the seller that sometimes it can still be appropriate for the seller to provide some degree of financing for the buyer. That will facilitate the transaction. You open up your buyer pool by requiring less down from the buyer. And statistics have shown that seller financing actually provides a slightly quicker sale and a slightly higher premium on the final sales price. So just something from the financial perspective. And then lastly is just the mechanics of selling the business. Many business owners underestimate what it takes to market, sell the business, field the buyers that respond.
And under the radar.
Absolutely. And simultaneously, you're trying to manage your business. Keep in mind, it takes 6 to 10 months to sell a business on average, sometimes much more, sometimes much less. But it's critical that you sustain that business, run the day-to-day operations, keep it profitable while that business is being sold. Too often we've seen business owners take their eye off the ball in the home stretch, and they actually lose money at the closing table. So that's critical as well. And again, that's where a professional business broker can help allow the business owner to focus on this while the broker focuses on selling the business.
And through all of this, if people business owners are on the teeter-totter as to, yes, I want to move on and sell this business, but they have items like personal fees, and so they're unsure as to what they want to do. Do you provide consulting services on recommendations as to when the timing is right? Or what a good time for folks to reach out to you when they're exploring this or when they know they want to go for it?
Also a great question. So typically what I see is people come to me and they're ready to sell now. They've closed on the house in Florida. They want to sell their business tomorrow. Ideally, if they can get ahead of that, 18 to 24 months out, there's a lot of things that they can do, some fundamentals that they can work on to optimize their business then to maximize the value at the time of sale. And I'm glad to speak with folks during that and put them in touch with other professionals with whom I work that can help coach them through their business and help them focus on some of those fundamentals like keeping operating expenses down, taking steps to grow the top line where possible, and even simple things like cleaning up the books can really facilitate the sale of the business when the time is right.
For a smooth transition.
Absolutely.
So we've got about a minute here. What final advice do you have for business in this area who either are considering this or now they will consider this?
Sure, yeah. So the first piece of advice for any business owner, regardless of where they are on the spectrum of maturity, have an exit strategy. So whether it's going to be a month or 30 years from now, start thinking about how you want to dispose of that business. Are you simply going to close the doors? Are you going to sell it to a son or daughter? Are you going to sell it on the market? And just keep that in mind as you build your business. The second piece is work on the fundamentals that I mentioned, get the business ready for sale. And then finally, if you're at the point where you are ready to sell your business and you're not comfortable doing so, pick up the phone and speak to a business broker who's experienced and has the resources to sell that business. At Murphy Business and Finance, we have that knowledge, that background, the resources to help business owners achieve their goals.
Well, great. Thank you so much. Remind us how business owners can find you online and at your phone number.
Phone number is 804-617-628 and online at michaelmetzger-murphy.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Dana.